So I present to you winners. We should change the name. Let's go to our Blazing 5.
Hot day.
Let's blaze it up.
Hope you can take the heat.
It's Colin's Blazin' 5. Blazin' 5 in the herd. Bills at Titans.
Oh, I love my picks this week. Tennessee at home, but they're a lousy home team. The worst in the NFL. They've covered only 2 of their last 15 against the spread at home. That's awful. And Buffalo's covered 7 of their last 10 games, period. Buffalo is a 2.5-point favorite. Now, the Titans have been dependent upon winning the turnover battle. That's why they're winning games, because people are turning it over. You can't rely on that. First of all, Buffalo's pretty good at the turnover ratio as well. Tennessee's last win, when they had the same number of turnovers or more, and they won, was 2013. That tells you they're not winning on personnel. They're winning because other teams are making mistakes. And Buffalo, you think it's Rex Ryan in defense. Do you know this? Buffalo has one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL. The most offensive plays in this league right now of 20-plus yards, Buffalo is tied for first. I get better personnel and a much more explosive offense. I will swallow the 2.5 points. Bills win it on the road, 28-23.
Browns at Ravens.
First of all, if it weren't for Pittsburgh being inefficient and missing a half dozen field goals, making a baker's dozen, Baltimore would be 0-4. Okay, and the Ravens are down 2 good receivers, including veteran Steve Smith. But what I like about Cleveland, and I've been on Cleveland this year several times. I won with the Browns last week. They're 6-0 against the spread when they get 6 or more points in the last 2 years with Mike Penton. They have an identity. They are a tough, physical team. Yes, Baltimore usually wins at home and usually scores at least 20. They have in their last 8 home games. But those numbers are largely based on last year when they had Torrey Smith. He's now a 49er. That is a big loss for them. And Josh McCown, the quarterback for the Browns, is okay. Threw for over 350 yards last week. He's thrown for 697 yards over his last 2 games. Travis Benjamin, Duke Johnson are excellent young players for Cleveland. Baltimore is not good enough at home against a tough physical team with weapons. I'll take 6.5 points. Ravens win 21-20.
Cardinals at Lions.
I can't even figure this line out. I only have to give up 2.5 points for Arizona. That's it. Listen, they've covered their past 8 games with Carson Palmer as a starter until last week's loss to the Rams. So I'm going to go wildly fluctuating my opinion on Arizona. They have a better coach. They've got, right now, a better quarterback at least playing that way, and they've got a better roster. Listen, even losing to the Rams, the Cardinals still have scored more than twice as many points as their opponents. This is a team, until last week, that was humiliating NFL teams. And when it comes to plays that gain at least 10 yards, Arizona's good on the ground and through the air, rushing and passing. They're either second or tied for second in plays gaining at least 10 yards. Detroit's the opposite. They're 30th in yards per game. They're last in rushing. I'm getting a better roster, an absolutely better coach, and a quarterback right now that I can depend on. Arizona covers, only 2.5, really, 31-23 Cardinals.
Seahawks at Bengals.
The world loves Cincinnati. I don't. I'll take Seattle in 2.5. First of all, this Seattle roster in the last 3 years has been in 15 big games. Playoff games, Super Bowls, Niners rivalry. This Cincinnati team, because by the way, Cincinnati and Seattle, do you know this? They have the most regular season wins as teams in the league over the last 4 years. It's the same, 45 for one, 44 for the other. The difference is Seattle's been 6-2 in the playoffs, Cincinnati's 0-4. Seattle is an underrated road team. Covered 65% of their road games, the last 23 on the road. I love that. And here's another thing I love. I'm going to tell you something you're not going to believe. Cincinnati in their 4 games has trailed for less than 2 minutes. They don't know what crisis is. They don't know what uncomfortable is. Seattle's not going to let them lead big because Seattle at one point will lead this game. How do I know that? Listen to this stat. You'll hear this nowhere in America today. In his last 14 games with North Carolina State, including his 14 games with Wisconsin, and including his 60 games with the Seahawks, that is 88 games. in a row which Russell Wilson's team has held a lead. He has held a lead in every game. Mind blown. Wake and bake guy, go back to bed. That is too much information. It's going to be close, and I'll take the team that has been in crisis, has been in more big games. Seattle wins. Take the points, 24-23, and go back to bed, Wake and Baker.
Rams at Packers.
You're just stupid if you don't take the Rams. You're dumb. First of all, how do you beat a great quarterback in this league? There's only two ways to do it. Pressure him. Rams have 17 sacks. And you better be able to run the ball. The Rams do. Gurley averaged 7.5 yards a run against Arizona's defense, which is better than Green Bay's defense. To beat Green Bay, you got to keep the ball on the ground, eat the clock, and keep it away from Aaron Rodgers. The Rams will do that. And you better have a pass rush. They do. And Jeff Fisher is a great coach as an underdog. 97-67 as a dog against the spread in his career. And since he's taken over the Rams, they have gotten a pass rush every year. It's what Jeff Fisher does. And here's another thing. Everybody loves Aaron Rodgers. You should. You know, Nick Foles and Aaron Rodgers have something in common. They don't throw a lot of picks. The highest touchdown to pick ratio since week 9 in 2013. Aaron Rodgers leads the league. Nick Foles is in the top 5. Rams aren't going to beat themselves. I don't think they win this game. I am taking 10 points all day long. Packers 28, St. Louis 23. And that's my Blazin' 5. Feel fantastic.